Alright, now welcome back to my channel. Well, I don't know if this will ever make it to YouTube or not. We'll see if I want anybody to know I got fiberglass doors or not. These are the HO fibertrend doors. I see a lot of people have doors and they can't get them lined up. Like with fiberglass doors and stuff, they go through and they try to line them up, or they might not try to line them up. Cause I see some big gaps, I see some small gaps, I see some crap all over the place. So I figure, hey, while I'm installing them, I might as well make a video on it. As you can see that gap there? See across the bottom, how it looks. So the key to a foxbody, that gap's a little bit bigger than I want, but with the removable doors, you kind of gotta have a little bit of a gap, otherwise you're gonna knock the paint off. I might bring that back a little bit more, I don't know yet. But the key to get these doors to fit good, first of all, so when you come in here and you go to mount these doors, first you need to come in here and I sprayed all this black. I'm gonna have to sand it back down because I turned around and I didn't get it scuffed, so it's scratching. So we're gonna sand all that down, so excuse all that. First you gotta pull your seal out. So you pull your seal out, you get up here, you cut your striker. You have to cut your striker and put your striker in and all that stuff. I mean, that's just a real nice quality door if you look at it. Everything fits factory. But what I do, I come in here and I take it and I get my gap. I get my back. I shut my back up without the fender on the car. No inner seal in it. And I come around and I tape it up like I have on this side. Let me show y'all since I've already done that side. So what I do, I come in here and the first thing you want to look at is your gap. So got a decent gap there. It's tight down here at the bottom. Okay, so we know we can slide it forward, but the big thing is just the contour of the door here. See the gap here at the bottom? You want to make sure you can put your finger in it. It's about the gap on a foxbody. It tightens up right here, and that's why that gap's tighter at the bottom than at the top. I gotta lift the front of this door up some. So this door really needs to come to about right there, which is where I had it taped at a minute ago, but it turned around and it came loose. So let me get this right here. So ideally, like I said, I want to put some tape on it. I want to make sure I retape it. And I want to get this thing, like I said, I get it on my striker. Come down here, I retape it. I want to make sure that everything's close as far as the lower gap before I drill these front ones. Because that's the important part, is the fact that I have to come in here and drill these fronts. So I got to make sure my body line is straight down the side. I can adjust up and down a little bit. Like I can come in here and I can adjust a little bit. But if I get this top one pulled in and that bottom one's out, then that back, either the front's gonna be stuck out down here or the back's gonna be stuck out on the bottom. And that's what a lot of people don't look at. I've always noticed about the foxbody stuff. They don't pay attention to that bottom line. That's what you set your car up off of. You set your car up off that body gap back there, that gap there, and this bottom line. You don't worry about all this because you got adjustability to align the front end up. That's nothing. So you start with the best corner. You don't put the front end on the car and then put doors on and try to align it. You align your doors, and then if you need to seam your fender in or out, however you need to do it, that's how you do it. But what you want to do, you want to come in here and, like I said, make sure that back gap's good, tape it. Throw you some tape on it if you ain't got somebody to help hold it. And just make sure that you get that bottom line crisp in there before you mark these holes. So now I'm going to come up here. I'm going to take these off because this is the inside plate. This is the outside plate. So I'm going to hang that on there. And then I'm going to work on getting my gaps wherever I need to set it up. Because I got all that area there. I could make it in or make it out. And I could really foobar this up if I wanted to. If I didn't already know what I was doing. Because I've done this on I've aligned foxbody doors before, so I know what I need to do. So first, like I said, make sure your gap's pulled in down here at the bottom. Make sure your gap's pulled in at the top. Make sure the back line's half straight and that straight. As long as you get it close, that's all that matters. Now I will hang that on here and make it as level as possible. And I'll mark my holes and drill it. And I'll do the same with the bottom. Then I'll come over here to this. And see, I got up, down, back and forth. I can adjust these things. So So I can make it where I want it, but first I have to make sure that it's plain, that's level, that it's true, that it's straight. Because if this is pulled out, if it's pulled out on the top, it's gonna have a gap at the top. The bottom's gonna be always closed up. If it's pulled in, it's gonna have a gap at the bottom, and it'll never line up right. But if you get these doors where they fit close like it is right now and taped up, once I put this on, then I have the adjustability to get it where I want it. Once I get it set where I want it, then I come up here and I adjust my fender to make my gaps right. Let me get this drilled real quick. I'll be right back with you. All right, now that I got this level, the first hole I drill, I make sure this is down all the way because I got my door down pretty low right here. So the only one I drill first is this one. Once I set the bolt up through this one, then I'm gonna start setting my piece in here. And this is where I get the rest of my spacing at, is off here. So I gotta make sure that it goes through these holes. So I'm gonna drill the top one first, and then I'm gonna drill the top one on the bottom first. And then I'm gonna adjust the bottom holes to get it exactly right. Ideally, once I get this top one set, and I get this one drilled, then the rest will fall in line. So if I can show you anything, take this bottom one and open it up just a little bit more than that, because it don't need to be perfect. So you wanna go through and make sure that when you do this, that you go through and open that gap up so it slides on there real easy. My phone's about to die, so I'm gonna try getting this done real quick. I hit that hole perfect up in here. Look at that. Let me get you right there. See, I got my nut down on the bottom. Perfect. So now I'm gonna tighten that up a little bit. I'm gonna start drilling my other holes. So now I got everything bolted up, solid to the door. Everything's drilled to the door. This line's right where I want it to be at. Now I'm gonna start adjusting the door. If you look, the gap is wide there, tight there. So now we need to bring the front of the door up. But if you notice, we're pretty flush all the way down. So we already got a good start. We just got to get the door up and check it out. I always start with my top hinge. I got my top hinge adjusted. It's tightened down to where I want it. I just got one tight right now. I got it squared away. Now I come in here and adjust the bottom to get the gap the way I need it. All right, once I get it close, I go ahead and I'll remove my back striker right there. That way I can fine tune this door to get it where I want to get the gap just right. And then I'll come back and put my striker on it and adjust it once I put my seal in. So now that I got my door open and closing right, look at that buddy gap right there, it sits there. So I got me a nice line down through here. Even if it tightens up somewhere, you can always take a grinder and clean it. But main thing is just make sure that line right there is good. So I'll take my screwdriver and I tighten down the back one. I take my screwdriver and I'll wedge it. Once I get that tight, then I bring my adjustable wrench. Like once I push pressure, that door will be lifted up too high. And I take my adjustable wrench right here and I flex it until I get it exactly right. Now I tighten my bolts up and ideally we're good. Then we can go back here and start working on getting the striker on the door. I verify that it opens, it shuts good, super light. It comes on and off the hinges real well. My gap, I like my gap here. It's not bad, like I said, because I'm gonna come in here and sand it and make it just perfect. If you look at that bottom gap down around that door, you can see it looks good. So when the door's closed, it's just like it's supposed to be down through there. So now I'm gonna put my striker on and start going. The key to the striker is, it hits. And that piece right there slides up behind of it. So you gotta make sure that this is out enough. Well, not enough to hit the door, but enough that it don't hit this. Because if it hits here, it's going to. Ideally, you want this thing, you want the striker hit dead center of that hole. So I'm going to eyeball it, open and closing a few times, and make sure that I hit dead center. That way this door shuts right. Now I got the door open and shutting like I want it. Watch this. See that it's shut all the way, but see that gap? That means I need to pull that on in. I have to pull on in on the door there to get that out of it. So let me go through and open it. I got one washer behind the striker. I'm gonna loosen that up. I'm gonna move it in now because I got it the right height. My door's shutting like I want it. Comes right here at the edge. I'm gonna put my seal back in it. I'm gonna show y'all a trick with the seal for these light doors. So what you do is you come in here and you slit this. What I do, I cut it right here because this is the first point that closes. So I cut it here. I skim it all the way down the bottom of the door and come back up. And the reason why we do this is because these seals are used to a 100-pound door. And that's usually the first thing that touches up front that makes these doors where they don't shut. You know, which I didn't get it always shut that time, but watch this. Look across the bottom down here. When I shut it, it just barely touches. So what I do, you have to leave the top part of the seal in, or otherwise the door will be sunk in at the top. It won't meet out flush like it's supposed to. So what you do, like I said, take that seal, trim that seal down here at the bottom, trim it halfway up the door, and that way you still got the seal up on the top side. And shut it right here. I take my leg, boom, shut it that easy. The alignment's good. Looks pretty good. Now I'm gonna sand the door down, get it ready for paint. Now that we have the door aligned, shutting right, sealed off, we'll stick the fender back on it and put the fender on it. And I'll just show y'all on these hinges right here. If you don't want to make it removable, if you want to do like on your patch door, if you'll take this hinge right here and you'll barely cock it up, it'll lock that to where you don't have to go through and where nobody can pull the door off if you're worried about somebody pulling it loose, knocking the paint off and stuff. I don't really care much for removing the door. It's a nice option, but I don't really care much for it because I mostly just wanted the glass doors, and that's the hinges that come with it. So now I'll put my fender back on, align my fender, then align my front end, align my hood, and that's how you get it. But to make sure fibertrend doors, those things are nice. It looks rough right now because I got black paint on it. But like I said, there are some nice doors. I ain't gonna lie to you. The way the latch works, everything has all the factory holes. Let me get the door panel. I'm gonna show you what it looks like with a factory door panel on it. See, that's where the factory door panel just set on it. I still got to drill my holes, which they got them dimpled in to where it's easy to locate for my door panel to shut, everything to shut right. Like I said, also we have this mold. Hold on one second. See, these doors they come with the marks right here. You take these pieces right here, these pieces of plastic, and you rivet them right there. They don't come with this. This is actually, I bought this from Late Ball Restoration or whatever. It's just a new plates. So based on a foxbody, that hole right there is drilled in the back and it bolts on. So basically you'll set this up on there, you'll slide it back and it locks it in place with your mirror. Put your mirror on. I bought this, like I said, it come with a new seal right here, so I had to go through and rivet it on. By the time I get done, it's gonna be a completely stock looking door. I got my door seals over here. I'm in my mold. When I put my mold on it, that door's gonna look 100% stock once everything goes on. I got my new track that goes inside of it too. I'll get all that for you. Get video of that too.